First of all, I am so happy y'all joined me. Okay. I just need to tell you the update. I'm writing this, okay, on last week. Let me see if I got my angles right. Okay. If you are just tuning in, me do this show, Stacy. I do this show each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna just leave everything right there. Skinny Bone. I do this show each and every week, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. And let me see. Oh, that is so much better. The lights. Come to the light. Stop playing. Just give me the light and pass the draw. But don't pass it to me because I don't smoke no more. So just give me the light tonight. Hey, give me the my guests in the building. Rocky Cusseaux. Oh, look, I keep a stain on my shirt because I've been guys, I can't control it. I eat good around here. Okay. Rocky, I need you to like zoom yourself where you like this height. Cause you is way over here. Like you look like you way over there.
No, yeah. I'm looking at you on my TV,
Oh.
what just so I can get framed up.
Oh, okay. Well, I definitely want to be on TV, but I need you to like zoom yourself all the way in.
Push in.
Yeah, because you
You
far
want me
back.
closer to the camera?
You like this. You way back here. Yeah, I want you to be like the same height as me if you can. Just give me the lights and pass the draw. Let's see what look better. No, this definitely look better. Okay. No, this I'm gonna turn them all on. I'm gonna turn them all on, and I'm gonna move y'all over. And phone don't play. Yeah. First of all, something that dropped on my dress, but it's okay. Let me tell y'all something. I need to put some salsa on here. You said that's better. Yes, see, you the same height. You just so much
You
better.
don't have an echo though, do you?
No, I don't have an echo.
Okay.
Mm-mm. I don't have an echo. My guest today, guys, I will not delay. Day trader, actor, comedian, all about Black people moving up together. Rocky Cusseaux is in the building. Okay. Your phone blinked out for a minute, but now it's back. How are you, Rocky? How you doing, Rocky? Now I can't hear you at all. Your volume is gone. Is it? Yeah. It was just here, but now it's gone. Maybe it flipped to some Bluetooth that's somewhere else in another room. First of all, Skinny Bone, you talk about nope, that's not better. Let me shout out to everybody who is here. Midlife Seekers is in the building. Skinny Bone is in the building. Whoever else is in the building, because I see y'all logged in, do me a favor and put it in the comments. Shout out where you are from, where you logging on from. You say going live. Put it where you logging on from. You said, sorry, people, we are having technical difficulties. Give them a minute. Yes. We just gonna give Rocky a minute because we just heard him. Y'all just heard him, right? It's just like completely silent, almost like something is disconnected. Mr. Funk Rock is in the building all the way from East Hollywood. My auntie Gwen is in the building all the way from Slidell, Louisiana. Yeah. Um, so while Rocky is doing that, okay, I just want to say this from last week. The update, because we was talking about dating, we was talking about the man's advice of where is your foot traffic in opening up. Well, guess what? I increased my foot traffic. Okay. Now keep in mind that if you weren't tuned in last week, my homegirl invited me to this book club. Um, and the book that they're starting with is how to keep a date, how to get a date worth keeping, be dating in 6 months or less, or get your money back. Okay, so anyway, so she sent me these two YouTube videos by Dr. Henry Cloud, and the guy was just saying so many things about how to get a date, and how a lot of Christian women don't get a date because we're like, oh, I'm waiting on the Lord to send me a man. And he was just like, well, just like you got a job and you got to go out there and audition for a job. And when you go to church, the church don't come to you. You got to go out there and get the good church. That's what he was saying about, how you got to go out there and be active with dating. So then one of the things that he challenged his someone that he was coaching with was getting to know 5 men, meeting 5 men. So of course the lady was just about to say she can't meet 5 men, but he was like, where is your foot traffic? So anyway, so I went out the house last Tuesday, because I was like, yeah, I agree. I'm gonna increase my foot traffic to the places I go, but I'm also going to change my mindset and just be open to having a good time, because one thing he said is you're not supposed to be dating for marriage. You're supposed to be just be going out and getting to know good people and having a good time, and don't worry about marriage. The Lord will just hook that part up and just go out and get with you. So anyway, so when I left the show last week, I went out and I called myself an artist date, because I read this book called The Artist's Way, and you take yourself on an artist date. Okay, so I just consider that like an artist date, but it did feel good to go out, although I didn't talk to anybody, didn't meet anybody, but I was just like, okay, but shout out to me. I did go out. But then my homegirl signed us up for this like meetup that was at the W Hotel, and lo and behold, these non-black guys were there, of course, because that's really been the holdup. Is I have been trying to date for marriage, and I have just been like, looking right past the non-black guys, like, where are the black guys at? Anyone? But anyway, just being open to being like, okay, I'm gonna just have a good time. I'm just not gonna be looking for the one. I'm just gonna have a good time. Child, we went out. We met these guys there. Two, I think it was like three Latino guys, and this one like I want to say white man with curly hair with an Irish accent, but saying he was from Texas. But I kept joking with him all night that he was, because he said he was from Texas, but I was like, oh, he Irish, but he in the witness protection program because that accent was clearly Irish. But anyway, we was going to leave them and go down to the Well Lounge. Rocky, I still can't hear you, so that's why I'm talking. We was gonna leave them and go down to the Well Lounge, okay? And they was like, "Now this is where black men, play. Can you please take a lesson from these guys right here?" These guys was like, "Oh no, where y'all going?" So we was like, "Oh, we going down to the well because we had been there a while. And they was like, they was like, "We going with y'all. I mean, the party don't gotta stop here." So they followed us down to the well, okay, which is another lounge. Oh, that was like all hip hop. Then the black men, you said hit that like button if you haven't. Thank you so much, y'all. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Thank you so much, Girl Dad. So anyway, so we go down to the Well Lounge. Now it's all black men up in here, and then we get to the door, and they like it's after 11 o'clock. Pay $20. So we was like, oh no, we wasn't. It was like free when we first came by it because we parked right by the well. So it was like free when we was walking by. So then when we was walking back up with the security guy, black man, he was like, the security guard was like, okay, let me go talk to the promoter and see what I could do for y'all. So anyway, he went and talked to the promoter. And the promoter was like, all right, all 6 of y'all get in. Okay. The Irish witness protection guy bought us, like he bought like food for everybody. He not food for everybody, but he just was like, okay, what you want? And I just ordered like some tacos and some fries that everybody can like share, whatever. Then the Latino guy was going through like a separation. Him and his wife was going through something. So of course, Minister Dale, honey, I had to come to the rescue for this man because everybody in the group was like, "Forget this lady. She did this, she did that." But I'm like, "Sir, you got 26 years with this woman. Absolutely. Now you gonna forgive this woman because you can't come here to find nobody else this time and get that life, you know." So I'm keeping him encouraged. But then when we go to leave the well, um the Latino man that's sad about his wife, cheating on him, he ain't said nothing all night, but we was getting ready to go home. He was like, "We going home already? The night is so young." So we looked up somewhere else to go. Went around to this uh, Irish pub called Borders around here that was so cute in the inside. Now this place been around here all this time, and I ain't never been in there, but it was just so cute. So we hung out another like hour and something, maybe almost like maybe like hour and something with him, but it was so fun. And I was just like, shout out to the Lord sending me and my homegirl, who is my homegirl, has been, going on the Facebook dating app trying to get dates too. And I was like, the Lord just sent us like two fire dates that night. And it was pressure free and it was so fun, honey. Me and that Irish man, witness protection man, we laughed so hard. And then, of course, the next day, he hit her up and he hit up my homegirl in a DM and was like, "Hey, uh, if you want to hang out at like 6 o'clock, let me know. It's no pressure." But she didn't. She had stuff to do, so she never hung out with him. But me and her was talking. She was like, "Look, black man, y'all need to do it." And I was just like, "That's probably why all these white men is snatching these black women up because." They are like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Like one thing we discussed is how cheap it was to have a great time. And I feel like as black people, we putting each other under the pressure. Like, you want somebody to take you to crustaceans, $150, $200. That's putting a man under pressure. Ain't nobody gonna be able to do $200 every time. But like, I don't want to tell you how to have a good time. I don't want to be like, all you got to spend is $50 and make it seem like, but that's all that was spent that night for us to have a most fantastic time. So, but one thing we was observing is how this guy was like, "Where y'all going?" No, 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 y'all not leaving us. No, we having a good time. It's us all night. And we want black men to. And what is that? I don't know if it's the black men out here. Maybe it's the black men out here because certainly in New York. Let me tell you something. In New York, a black man, a brother in New York will put you in the headlock before he let you go without getting your phone number. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they are, and that's what you get used to, and that's what you like long for. You long for that dominant man that is just like, "Yo, I know how to have a good time. Yo, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna climb the Santa Monica stairs, we're gonna go for a little breakfast." It does not cost a lot of money to have a good time, but you need to be adamant. And that's what these non-black men had. They were so adamant. And we had, when I say we had the best time. So it was just so great to have, to be opening up the foot traffic. So anyway, so let me see what y'all said. Rocky, are we there? Do we have sound yet? No. Make y'all hear a ting. Okay, I'm gonna keep on talking. Let me see what's in the comments. First of all, if y'all are tuned in, we do this each and every Tuesday on YouTube live, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. So if you're looking at this live right now, do me a favor, share this live with two friends. If you're looking at this on playback, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Not right now, because now it's just so much faster than right now. Okay, let me see what y'all say in the comments real fast. You said witness protection said brazen booty. That sounds like a great time. I am loving this segment, the Dell Show. Thank you so much, y'all. Hey, Auntie Gwen is in the building. Thank you so much because that was just so fun. And then of course I went to thank you for subscribing. So then of course I went to this other place. Just yesterday it was like, this industry place and I just been woo I filled up that time, Rocky. Yes, I did. I can hear you now.
I had to just switch phones. I don't know what was going on.
I
I
don't know
heard
what.
you.
You know what? The setup was too fancy. That's what it was. You could see it on the TV. You could see it on the phone. You could see it on the watch. Whenever you got all that involved, You can't hear it. You got
Yeah,
all the
something
vision.
definitely switched because you were hearing me at first.
Yes.
And I think I
Yeah.
do have you mentioned the speaker. I did have that Bluetooth speaker on, so I don't know if it tried to take over the sound.
No, that's what it did. And your phone
Okay.
switch because your phone automatically switches to that because that's what you be playing music from. So it switched to that Bluetooth. But when you switch
I
to a
wasn't I
Bluetooth on the
wasn't connected
live,
to it.
you weren't.
No, I connected to these other two Bluetooth, but that was too much Bluetooth. I had the Bluetooth mouse, Bluetooth keyboard. Yeah, too much. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, it was too much. Gwen said, "Now, Skinny Bone said, now we rocking and rolling." Okay. At Gwen says, "Sounds spontaneous, Dale. Y'all dates. It was so fun, and it was so it was so great." And it's and then of course now somebody else hit me up online, much younger guy, but we did do some, an audition together. And I just said to myself, I'm going to take this man's advice with just saying, just getting to know a great person and not being, and it being
Absolutely.
no pressure. But, what we wish, if Rocky, I'm so glad to have you on because Rocky is my friend. I'm friends with him and his wife, Mimi,
Correct.
which whom I love so much, Mimi. And I mean, both of y'all, but, I'm just love
No,
Rocky so
it's
much.
it's more her. I get it. I get it.
I
I
mean,
accept it.
it's so her that I forget that I met Rocky first. That is how much I love his wife. That me and his wife do more hanging than Rocky do. Okay.
Correct.
So, but anyway, but what one thing we were talking about is how direct these men were. It wasn't like, well, we just gonna see. It was like, yo, where y'all going? No, y'all not leaving us. We going to party. What's up? The night is young. What is going on? Like, how can what do we need to do for black men to do that? Because that is
Well,
what we're longing. We're longing for the black man to just
yeah.
like it did not cost that much money. There was no, it was pressure free. And I feel like, what how can we get that going on with the black man?
The energy you're describing, I think both parties are looking for. So, two things that you did exceptionally well. When you're having a good time, people want to gravitate to that energy. Like
Okay.
so you say when you say step out, just be out and letting your personality shine, not seeming thirsty. You're not you don't need anything out here. You're just enjoying yourself. People gravitate to that. The other thing you mentioned with my wife is when you hang with good people, you'll meet good people. And so she and I
Mm,
met through a mutual friend. So that's a key as well. Once again, that's a part of that having a good time, getting to know people, meeting people, and then especially with women, women will always keep in mind like, "Ooh, this might be a good person for da da da," and then y'all already are wired like that.
yeah.
But also, what you're describing for black men, that's the energy, unfortunately, that we're feeling from women of other cultures. Speaking of,
Mimi.
she was like, I love Mimi. And that's my saving grace because certainly I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but Mimi is the saving grace to our social calendar. But I digress. But that's the energy that black men pick up on from white culture, Latin culture, every other culture, where it seems less contentious, like not all that baggage isn't there that sometimes black men and black women feel together. Like you said, well, let me see which things you have on my checklist. If it's a real like we feel that energy. Like okay, I'm being graded here, judged here, and I think that's why sometimes older black women or older women in general do better with young men because if a woman's established, then that man doesn't have to feel all that pressure. Like I've got to feel like I'm up here to even talk to this woman. If she's like, you're a
Mm,
good guy, you got a good job, a decent job, but you're just a man of character, and these other things going for you. Oh man,
mm.
Then she's like, "Let me buy you a drink." And you're like, "What? Me? No young girl has ever cared about trying to take care of me. An older woman be like, come get a plate or come do this or I want to take you over here, and it's a different
Mm,
energy from whereas a younger woman or a woman your age is like, okay, well, what can you do for me? It's a real like, let me see
okay,
your
but
resume, let me
okay,
see
but
your
does
credit
it?
report.
Okay,
It's like,
we love being the we love nurturing is in us, but does
yes,
it work with someone who is so much younger? You know, because the thing is, at the end of the day, we definitely we like the fun energy and we love to take care of you, but also too, definitely we're more mature as like just women just mature faster anyway. You know what I'm
correct,
saying? Like
correct.
so a person that's 10 years younger will actually be 20 years younger because you know what I'm saying, we're already so much more mature. So does while we like the company, we still essentially want to mate, you know what I mean? And am I going to mate someone that is, you know 10 or 20 years younger than me? You know what I'm saying? So does that work? Like,
I think it really just depends on the person. When you start locking into numbers, you're limiting yourself. But I think the main thing is, if it is an older woman, she's probably already been through a serious relationship or a several. She may already have a kid or two. So she's already had some life under her belt and enough to assess like what's more important than just how a person looks on paper.
mm,
A younger woman is still looking for paper qualifications, power couple dynamics, whatever they have in their head. Like, whereas an older woman who's been there, done that, like, no, if you're a good guy, and like, so with Mimi, when we met, I didn't have a car. I was a freelancer, which I wasn't making. I made decent money for me, but my expenses were low. So
mhm,
had she have
mhm,
been like, you're not checking all these boxes, we would have missed each other easily. Because even
mm,
the friend that introduced us was like, yeah, but girl, he ain't even got a car. So I'm like, oh, if you already like scratching people off because you're like, oh, well, they don't have this, that, and that. But it's like, okay, what qualities do I have?
mm,
Happily married parents, college degree, self starter. Because as you mentioned, my accolades early on, it was that experience that I had already working to produce stuff, working to create shows and do all of those aspects. Now, moving to LA, I don't have those things established now, but I brought the skill set with me. And if
mm.
you're willing to build with me, well, then let's build. And sure enough, we built Rock the Mic Live. We've done short films. We've built things. But if she would have been like, does he already have it? No, I don't already have it. I was new to LA. I was 1 year in when we met.
Okay, I like that you brought the conversation here because I went to this like investor alliance this weekend, okay, or this past week. And I was talking to one of the guys there, white man, who we were talking about because I was telling him about my app, of I'm building the app to, help black people get off the dating apps and and meet each other back in person. And we got on the topic of why he felt it is tough out here for women,
Mm,
and he says it's because women are doing very well, and it has to be a very secure man to have a woman making so much more money than him, because he was like it's in their nature
mm-hmm,
to save. Men want to wear the cape. They want to save, come in and save the day, and women are making all these astronomical salaries. And he was like, he has a lot of friends that are divorced, and they'll meet this woman that makes all this money, and he was like, and they can't deal with it, and they don't want her for because they don't, it makes them insecure. And he was like, and unfortunately, that's how we're wired.
or at
Women
least
are.
you can be successful, but it's still be in your feminine energy though. But I think when women have to wear all of those hats, they start to get into a male energy, which is going to a real heterosexual male that's going to bump heads with him.
Well, what is the male energy? Because most of the time, like I was just thinking, because I was actually writing this down. This is what I wrote. White man, the average white man says the average man cannot deal with a woman. Should we be hiding our success? Because see, we're willing, like we are willing to see the potential. Like if I meet someone and they're all about me. Now, if they one
Hmm.
of these people that want to move in your house and now they still gonna be like, I told you we not exclusive. Like that's where, you know what I'm saying? That's where you're less mature at, and you're not ready to be anyone's mate. Okay, whether you make more than her or not. But a lot of women do see the potential partnership in a person, but it's nothing we can do if we are ambitious and we make that, we make the money. So you know what I'm
It's
saying?
not the
Should we
money
be hiding that
specifically.
success? Huh?
It's not the money specifically or the success, but it's like, what is your energy when we're communicating? And it's hard to describe, but I just saw a post. My friend just had a post because they had two women. It was like a younger woman, but she's got two kids, but she's submissive, but she feels like the man should pay for everything. And then they had the professional woman who might have been a little older, um, but I think that I don't know if the term was assertive or whatever terms that dichotomy they were creating. Most men say they would still go for that softer energy, and so I don't know how to describe it to you. I know what it is when I feel it. Like there was a young lady that I was dating when I was still in Tampa, and she still kept this guy in her life who was kind of like he was kind of like a sugar daddy. He was married, but he was a guy who she knew she could count on if she need. This guy had co-signed for her. I think he helped her get an apartment. Now the crazy thing is, he got her an apartment right close to the neighborhood he was living in with his wife, and I'm like, I can't come into this situation
This
when you
man
you
can't
you
be,
already got a man,
hold on.
essentially.
This man can't be commuting to his side chick house.
Girl, I'm like in the same neighborhood, y'all in the same gated
This
community. I
man need to
was
get on
like,
his scooter. This man need to get on his scooter and get down to the side chick house fast when she needs something.
so, but I'm like, that leaves and even with that, I was saying I gravitate towards strong women. I don't have a problem with strong women. My mom is a strong woman, so I'm cool with that. Like I've dated a lot of women who were working on their doctorates, stuff like that. I'm cool, but the only example I can give you is my parents. There was a time when my mom became the breadwinner, and that was like, say, the second half of my parents' relationship. But in the home, there was never a moment when I didn't feel like my dad wasn't still the man of that household. And what he would, if he needed to put his foot down on something, then that was just it was what it was. And that's
Mm.
the traditional energy I come with, even though I'm a lot more lax with my wife. But there are moments when I'm like, no, that's not gonna work for me. So like I say, I can only describe it that way. So even though my mother made more money, the dynamic never shifted in how they man, woman, however you want to describe it.
And you know what, I feel like I mean I know some situations that are similar, in my family, where the dynamic didn't shift. This was still the king of the home, if you want to, call it that way. But I feel like there could be some insecurity just on the man's part, that's
Absolutely.
just naturally feeling like
We've
the,
got a lot of young,
there's another energy there when there's not. You know what I'm saying?
there have been a
But
lot
then
of
also
men
too,
who've
as
just
a
been
woman,
raised by
we
black
need to.
women.
You said what?
There have been a lot of men who've just been raised by women. And like they don't have male energy to model after. Good male energy. I
Mm.
had good male energy to model after. That being said, my dad did a lot of the grocery shopping, a lot of the cooking. Matter of fact, I just had a real full circle moment because I was cooking. My wife asked me if I could make my father-in-law a hamburger. And that took me back to, oh man, my dad used to make the best hamburgers for us, cooking for the whole family. And
Mm,
that was my full circle moment. I'm cooking dinner for my family. Because out of convenience, sometimes she'll just go grab something at a fast food place. And I'm like, let me. So the last time I went to the grocery store, I just bought a pack of hamburger meat. And that's reminded me, my dad used to buy the big box. I don't
mm,
eat red meat like that, but
mm.
regardless. Um, and so it's not about, I don't want women to get it confused with roles like, oh, the woman cooks and the man makes the money. Yeah, we could all, in my example, they were both making the money. Who makes more? Okay, semantics. Especially if you're married, then we're dealing with joint accounts anyway, or we're dealing with like this is our money. It's not my money, and so that's when I think couples bump heads. My money, your money, this is mine. That's your, and you're trying to be in
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah, when it's a partnership because I feel like yeah, whoever is the has the time to cook, let's let you get on the stove and let's let you cook
Or maybe who's
for
even better at
us. And maybe also too maybe you enjoy it more, because certainly my Uncle Joe who, just passed away, God rest his soul, uh he was the cook. You know what I'm
it.
saying?
Hmm.
For cook and he loved it. Every time we went there he pulled out a smorgasbord of food and like it was like a cookout coming to his house. So,
Yeah, so I don't want
okay,
to get it. I don't want to get it confused with gender roles. I'm not saying that, but I'm
yeah,
saying, and my mom grew up in the church. My mom grew up with, and her dad passed when she was young, maybe about 11, 12. But, her older brothers stepped up, especially the eldest brother. And her uncles were very present in her life. So I don't know. She still has that energy of I'm going to let your father is the leader.
yeah.
Now,
Mr. Funk Rock
he's going to take
made
her
a great point.
counsel.
Go ahead. You said what?
So I say that to say, but he's still going to take her counsel. It's not like, you know, the balance can still be off where a man's thinking everything he got to say goes and this, that, and the, no, 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 no. That's not the energy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's hard to describe to someone who might not have experienced it the way I experienced it.
And I feel like a partnership brings the strengths to the
Yes,
home,
absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
so like Mr. Funk Rock says, I cook every night for Claire and Anthea, wife and daughter, and that started when Anthea was born. Never really did that before, and I feel
Mm.
like there are different strengths that are born, and I just want to see because that conversation that we had at that investor conference where the guy was like, he was just like, unfortunately, some men, they are insecure when it comes to a woman having this astrological money. And I feel like also too, because I don't have astrological amount of money, but I'm also very ambitious in going toward the astrological amount of money. And so I do have to be protective of that dream. You know what I'm saying? Like not wanting anyone to
Derail,
derail, because I do feel like sometimes,
sidetrack.
you're talking to someone and they have a different view. And so their view is just so strong, which is just like, oh, well, you don't have to be rich. I mean, everybody don't have to be rich. But like you do need money. How you gonna travel? You just going from gig to gig. You need money. You gotta aspire to have more and you gotta be doing more. So I
Especially
let me
now
not.
because we're going to lose a lot of these jobs, especially these gig jobs.
And I was about to, before you say that, okay, guys, if you're tuned in right now, we do this each and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, the Dell Show 2.0. My guest tonight, Rocky Cusseaux, comedian, day trader, husband, and good brother. Rocky, tell everybody what you got going on and where they can see you and all the great things you've done before we continue
You
on.
know, I'm in talks to bring Rock the Mic Live back. It'll be a live show, but this generation of it will be for streaming. So I'm in talks right now with venues, and my goal for my 50th that's coming up in April is to bring my improv group that I helped found, or well, one of the founding members of Got Jokes Improv, based out of Tampa, Florida. So we'll bring them in for an LA show, our first big LA show, and because we'll be celebrating our 18th anniversary. So
Mm.
those are the big things that are in the work.
And tell them where they can follow you because I want them to follow you. I'll tag you in the comments, but
Absolutely.
shout it. Go ahead and shout it out right now.
Rocky the Comic on all platforms, and Rock the Mic Live on almost all platforms.
Okay. Um, I wanted to. So whenever Mr.
And
Funk
I want
Rock
to
is
thank
saying
you
3 o'clock.
also for being a huge supporter of Rock the Mic Live. You've been rocking, you were rocking with us from the early days, for sure.
Yes. I absolutely love Rock the Mic Live. When it was at Skip Town Playhouse, I was a straight regular at Rock the Mic Live because it was y'all just curate such a good environment. Mr. Funk Rock has a great suggestion for a place, which is Three Clubs.
I've been over
Three
there.
Clubs
Yeah, that's where
has.
you did your
Have you been
special.
over there? That's why they're my special. But they have, you see, the front room is a smaller lounge type, for
Hmm.
improv or Rock the Mic Live show. That's a great place. Um, you say I do improv, shameless plug. Okay, well, we're gonna have to get y'all connected, so that you can come to LA and do some improv. I want to switch topic because we got two huge topics to talk about.
Absolutely.
And I also um ask the guests when I'm booking the show, what do they want to talk about? And one thing that Rocky sent me,
And
is
y'all
these
see she
AI
writing on the back of
jobs.
an envelope.
Yes, I am writing the back of an envelope. I write on everything, honey. Look, envelope, envelope, postcard,
I'm the
uh,
same way.
to do list, like you name calendar. Everything is written on out here, okay? Because the thing is, when you write it down, you really write it on your memory,
Correct.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm writing down everything. But anyway, two of the topics you sent me is the AI jobs. And well, you sent me the AI job, the vertical drama, but you sent me the Diddy doc. Did y'all see
Mm.
the Diddy doc? Put it in the comments if you saw. Let me see if I could use a
All
Q
four
and A.
episodes.
All 4 episodes. Top chat. Oh, I can't do it. I was just gonna try to do a Q and A because they letting you do a Q and A now on here. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
let's
Let me
do
see. What is this? Green screen. No, 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 no.
it.
Okay. No, no, no green screen. Okay, back to my thing. Anyway, I was trying to do it. It'll
Yeah, that's
come
how I
up
felt
here and
earlier.
it'll yeah. Okay, but I'm not gonna feel like that for long. I saw all 4 episodes of the Diddy doc, and before I saw the
Yeah.
Diddy doc, the Biggie doc was on Netflix the weekend before, so I watched the Biggie documentary on
Okay, I'm gonna
his
have to go check that one
Rise to
out.
Fame. Huh?
I'm gonna have to check that one out. I just saw that the movie one, not a documentary.
Okay, you said not all of Diddy's doc yet. You said first of all, knowledge born our lives in the building. Hey, brother. Brains and Booty said, I have not seen the documentary, but I have heard a lot of my theories. So, what was your initial take on the Diddy documentary before I get my opinion going on? And yeah.
First things first, I felt like I owe Suge Knight an apology, brother. I'm sorry, sir. I swore you had more of a
I've
hand
been blaming
in.
you for Tupac's death for
Yeah.
years.
I'm
Come to
sorry, sir.
find out you were scared of P. Diddy too, Suge.
He wasn't scared of him. But and it was interesting to hear that run in they had at a nightclub where I guess he had to grab Diddy up like he was using him like a human shield. Um,
Who?
sure.
Sure.
That was in that doc. They
Sure.
mentioned it.
that Suge had to grab. I think I missed that part
Yeah,
because
like
I was
some
just
people was trying to draw guns or something, and actually shot one of the guys that was with Suge. But I think he grabbed Diddy to like get out of the area, like to get out of there. He
mm,
held Diddy to
mm,
like to threaten to say like, don't try to shoot me
mm,
kind of a thing. Yeah, yeah.
mm.
But no,
Was
yeah, that
that
was the
when he
first
killed
thing.
himself? So I was talking to a friend of mine about the Diddy doc,
Hmm.
and we were talking about the last producer that was talking about that Diddy did a whole album and was only going to pay him 29,000 for producing the whole thing, and he never got his money still to this day. And
Correct.
this guy was doing drugs with him. The guy said that, sometimes he'll wake up and it'll be random girls in the bed. Then other
Oh,
times
Lil
he would wake
Rod.
up and, yeah, other
Okay.
times he would wake up and Diddy would be in the bed. And he was
Hello.
like, he knows that they drugged him. And so my homegirl was saying, these people are grown, they could have just left there and none of this would have ever happened. And and so that's what I want to know. Whose fault is it? Because certainly I was telling her is the reason why I really appreciate it is because, like, I don't know if y'all know this, and let me just break it down to you on a spiritual level. Satan, when the Father made him, he made him of jewels. And that is why, like, he's not doesn't have like flesh like us. He was bejeweled. So he made him of the topaz and the other jewels. And so that is why it's always like a shiny dangling carrot that Satan
Mm.
will dangle towards you, and you can't withstand it because or you can withstand it, but you need straight, you need heaven strength. You need the Father helping and going before you because he does dangle something. And that's why I feel like Diddy did the same thing with these people. He takes young producers, young people that want to get on, you know
Absolutely.
they're close to the source, and so it's hard to get unraveled out of that demonic circle when a person seems like a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you saw all the
Absolutely.
mess. So, but she was adamant about, well, still you leave. This is not Diddy's fault, this is your fault. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, First, I would just start with it seems like that entire industry had been like that, as well as the movie industry or the entertainment industry as a whole. When we go back now and hear these stories, all of this stuff is now coming to light. All the Cosby, the Weinstein, but so it didn't start with Diddy. Let's just
Yeah.
start there. Right. We've heard about casting couches. We've heard about, um, you know, and I feel like Hollywood's been one of those types of places where I think that's how they used to control people. Or if you go back and listen to how studios used to control their actors,
Mm.
and keep their secrets, like who was gay and who was this and who was that, and
Mm.
um, so it was a lot of that already going on, And when you hear truth tellers like a Richard Pryor, he would call it out. Because I can see that there was a moment when Paul Mooney you could see he was trying to hold it over his head, but Richard called it out on his own. He was like, yeah, I slept with he used another word, like a gay guy. And it's like, you're not going to hold it over me. I'll say it
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Even when Eddie Murphy, if you watch the Eddie and he had the two puppets, the Richard was like, I take the pill myself. Like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's giving you some real insight into, even what Cat Williams was calling this stuff out. So to answer
But
your
who's
question,
yes.
it was already going on. But I think Diddy took it to a maniacal level. Because if we go back, we've heard of a lot of artists saying they signed some really crappy deals. So that's why I
Mhm,
say that kind
mhm.
of stuff was already happening. We had TLC telling us, here we've gone platinum,
Oh
but we're
yeah,
broke.
yeah, and we're broke now. But this is what
New
I want.
Edition.
what I want you to answer is the question is, whose fault is it for this particular guy? Because this particular guy, I mean,
So,
he's weak against this carrot dangler,
mhm,
But the way my friend was saying it, in just an hour discussion, she was just like, but these people are adults. Certainly
correct,
you could just walk away. When you look at the Cassies, you could walk away because that's
correct.
really the reason why they didn't charge him with everything is because one of the jurors was saying that this was just a tumultuous relationship. This wasn't abuse. You back the next day. But
What they
when
were
you look
saying,
at,
yeah, the charges we're looking at aren't about domestic abuse right now in this case.
yes, so
Um,
whose
it
fault is it? You know,
it
we,
reminds me, I mean, absolutely, people always have to take responsibility for. It's one thing if something happens to you, but if you keep allowing it to happen to you, then that's absolutely on you.
mm,
But I think if we look at the like I look at it from the perspective of a pimp and a prostitute.
mm,
They're usually going to get you. They might get you addicted to something. They always control the money. They'll dangle these carrots. And so much like with Diddy, I feel like he kept his artists broke so that they would always have to need to come to him for
mm,
money. So we've heard it from like Babs when she told her story. She said, "This contract is only offering you fame, not fame and fortune." We heard it from the girl
Craig
that
Craig's
um,
wife said that she was having to get money from her
I
father,
need five thousand
even though,
dollars. She couldn't. She never heard back from the man until he needed something from her. Now he
mm,
blowing up her phone, and we saw him doing it. And that's what I
yeah,
loved about the documentary. We saw his actual real footage, not something someone shot of you. This was you hired a camera guy
yeah,
to
yeah,
follow you around,
yeah.
and much like in Diddy's style, you tried not to pay the person.
And
So
that's
that's
where
the
you go. That's where you go demonic at. When
that's the pattern.
you got, you're not uh having $1 million and you got to pay 900,000 of it to these lawyers. You're almost a billionaire, if not a billionaire, from your deals. So you got 5,000,
But now we see why you you robbing your artists. But like I said, the music industry taught these record labels how to do that very early on. So that's why you hear these artists saying they're fighting for their publishing, they're fighting for their masters, all the way back to Prince, all the way back to the beginning of every if I think about that movie Cadillac Records, every old reference to the music industry, that was the same theme.
yes.
But back
But
to what's happening to like a little Rod. Yeah, you got enticed by the lifestyle that got you out here. You're living in the mansion, you're partying all the time, and you're doing the work, and they're telling you what you gonna get paid later. Later. You're waking up, you've been drugged, but when you're drugged, you don't really you know something happened, or you don't know what happened, but not enough to where you can say this person did this to me. No, you was passed
mm,
out. You don't know.
mm. Well, Stacy, why
But
did you say Taylor Swift? What about her? Brains and Booty say even adults can be manipulated. Lord, lead us not into temptation. See, the thing about it too is, yeah, you could just roll on home, and you could not have the project finished,
and
and
some
you could
people did.
go back
I
and
know
get a regular job, and then you could, because the thing about it too is, you're basically essentially you got a family and you need that money. Oh, Taylor Swift fight for her masters too.
mm,
Yeah.
and then they get to the point where they'll try to remaster once some of those rules lift. And I'm not in the music side, so I don't know all the particulars. But I think after a certain number of years, stuff's supposed to come back to you. Or, but even we heard the story when Michael bought the Beatles catalog. So and from a Beatle who's saying, "I'm trying to buy back my music." So even the most successful groups we can think of still fighting to try to gain access to the thing that they created, their baby. But so back to Rod. Yeah, I think you just got to get out of those situations as right after the first incident and be like, oh no, 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 no. But I can understand you, much like anybody who was chasing a Hollywood dream. It sounds like every true Hollywood story I've ever heard. I mean, they were chasing this fame and fortune and got caught up into some craziness.
Mm, mm, mm,
And some
mm,
people move forward. And for me, I think of Usher and Bieber because
mm,
I'm like, nobody's talking about them, but it seems so clear to me that he was doing he did to them what he was doing to others. But
mm.
they put it behind them and said, "Hey, my career is still more important to me," or however they rationalized it. But then you've got the people like a Mace, like a Craig
Maybe
Mack, who are like,
he got
"Nah."
all the business out of the get. Like these people just got out the business altogether. And I met one of his other producers too, and these people got out the business altogether because
And
they
I've
have
heard
just
stories
been,
like that.
yeah,
I
they've just
heard
been doing.
Mimi knows a guy who was, but he was aware. So I don't know if they drugged him first, but he was raped by a male artist and he just got out the business, which I can understand. Like, how do you go back?
Yeah,
And then I think that's also how they hold it over you, and especially with Diddy, because I've heard stories of
he
they
filmed it.
said, well, the house full of cameras.
Yeah,
Same thing with the Playboy Mansion. You hear story, Heidi. I don't know if Heidi Fleiss had it hooked up like that. A lot of these people who run these types of places, or Epstein especially, cameras everywhere, recording everything. So they're getting you in compromising positions and saying, "Hey, either you get along and go along, or we're going to expose you."
yeah,
I think my wife's trying to warn me. You can't use some of this language.
yeah.
Allegedly,
No, you
allegedly, all
said
of this is alleged.
Justin Bieber is still recovering. Poor thing.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I saw a clip of him talking about just trying to get out from under suicidal thoughts or
Um.
self-destructive behavior. And we've seen that with a lot of those child stars. But it's like, okay, who was exposing you to the stuff when you were a kid? You've heard of Drew Barrymore telling all these, and they get labeled as they were party kids or the brat pat, but no, it was these people in this industry grooming you, if you will,
Yeah.
allegedly.
No, P. Diddy did a lot of grooming. Okay. We got to wrap it up. I just can't thank you enough for always an enriching conversation. Let everybody know because I got to get on to the good news of the week. You know, and you said,
Yeah,
oh,
Rocky the
gosh,
comic.
Usher was just a kid and explained all the craziness he was seeing and dealing with. I know his mom was probably sick that she left her child with this man. I know. I Let me tell you something. I
So
just can't even.
when you talk about responsibility, I start there. Who is leaving these kids unattended like this?
And I just keep thinking about. I just keep thinking about his own kids.
Mm.
His own kids
Because he
because
had some of the boys in there right along with him doing stuff. So
no, I know that, and but the thing about it too is because of how their father is, they wouldn't even be able to say, I don't like this, I don't do this. You know what I'm saying?
it's all you
Because
know.
he's giving them the molly, he's giving them the everything. But anyway, we gotta
And
wrap it
that's how
up.
I felt with him showing it was seeing what his relationship was with his mother. And you go, oh, mom
Yeah,
was
what
throwing
did
parties at the house and doing stuff. And okay.
yeah. Did you see how this guy said he beat his mother one day?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Gene Deal had talked about it,
yeah.
kissing her on the mouth, beating her. And we've allegedly heard similar stories with Birdman and Lil Wayne. And it's
Oh no, we
like
didn't hear similar stories. We
it's
didn't
deeper
hear
than
similar stories. We saw it clean as day on BET. Birdman kissing Lil Wayne in the mouth.
Well, not only that, there's a video of Lil Wayne talking about it, and I've never heard anything else about it, but you can find the clip. It exists.
Yeah. Um, Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Please tell everybody where they can find you again,
Rocky the Comic
and
on
yeah, how to
everything.
follow you on everything. Thank you so much, Rocky, and
My pleasure, Ben. Thank you for having me.
can't wait for Rock the Mic Live to come back because that show is just
January
super dope.
ish.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're coming back.
January. Okay.
All right.
All right. So thank you so much. And y'all don't go anywhere because we got the good news coming up next. I'll talk to you later, Rocky.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. One thing I have to, what I really took away from the Diddy documentary is, I am a person, like, I was just looking at how good Puffy looked, how good Diddy looked. I don't care what your type is, okay? I'm talking about a striking, well dressed gentleman that was behaving like a complete devil. And I feel like, one of the things that my friend had mentioned was, what is 50 Cent, why is he producing the documentary on P. Diddy? And I'm actually glad he did because you need you needed to see that because I think sometimes that black people we get surprised. Like I know I do. We get surprised that black people is acting that way like a straight devil because a lot of us have come from the south where like when we run into a another black person that don't believe in God, this the utter shock that's on black people's face because we're just raised. Most of us are raised in a household to be like, oh no, we go to church, we do this, but to see so basically that's where my investment into the documentary was, is to be looking at it so intently because like there being lots of carrot danglers out there like that, lots of well-dressed devils that just don't have no good intentions for you in your life. Like nothing. This man ain't feel guilty. This man ain't never go back and be like, you would think with him being in jail, he would have went back and just paid everybody. He would have had a redemption and been like, you know what? Guys, I'm just so sorry. I've been doing everything. This man, even even when but before he was getting locked up, he still ain't give people this money. He's never helped people out. Like there's nothing in this man's body that wants to do right. All his success has come from tragedy, from deaths. Every time from the beginning of his career when he hooked up a thing at this college and he had 9 deaths, and then he blew up from there, and I feel like he got addicted to the fame that death brings. So it was Tupac, and it was Suge's thing, and it was Biggie, and that just then another Shine went to jail, and that like a person could have no soul up in there. So I'm glad that it came out, and God bless those people because even though you should have just been like, I'm going home, we have to be spiritually armed so that we can withstand these kind of because this is a devil that looks like he's one of y'all. He look like he gonna give you the promised land. All his artists is blowing up. All his songs is famous. He talks with such kindness. You know what I'm saying? Like he was treating Cassie me, but he wasn't talking to these other people greasy. It was literally how we learn how Satan is. Say everything you want to hear, do everything you want to do, but don't mean you no good at no point in time did he ever mean them any good. It was strictly for himself to get on. He was strictly using you to bring you down. And then the thing about it too is when I think about death, you know, I think every time, and I even wrote this in my book. I wrote a chapter in my book called Death Has Good Hearing. And it's because every single time I go like a rapper dies, an artist dies. I go and I hear their music, and Tupac, Biggie album Ready to Die. Tupac, I forget some of the lyrics or whatever, but it's about death. His album was Machiavelli. That's a man that faked his own death. Like, you know death has excellent hearing, and we have to be careful. Like, that's why I don't be like, I'm dying to go, I'm dead. People be like, I'm crying, I'm dead, with something funny. No, no, honey. I don't even be like, how they be like, bedside ride or die. I be like, bedside ride and live. She is not my ride, she is my ride and live, because I'm not gonna call it words at all. Okay, if you're looking at this show on playback, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you're looking at it right now, share this live with two friends. I'm about to get into the good news of the week, because my word, let me tell y'all something. Life is great, okay? And don't you forget it. And don't you forget it. And let me just tell y'all, starting with the Barack Obama statue. My word, did y'all see the Barack Obama statue? They got a Chicago Southside unveiled the 18-foot bronze statue of their very own Barack, and this statue actually looks good. Yay! Thank you so much, Mr. Funk Rock, for being subscribed. You said, honey, the statue actually looks good, because I don't look. And look, somebody replied to my comment, and because I was just like, thank God this statue looks good. Like, whoever did that statue did a good job. And somebody else replied and was like, they need to have them redo some of these basketball players, because like, that's why I went straight to look for the statue, because I'm just like, because honey, these statues, I don't know who they get to sculpt these statues, but these people must got yeah, I don't know. They must have did a statue off of a picture that was melting, because people's statue is just dishonoring them all day long. But I kept it positive in the comments. Nas is in the news. Meet rapper Nas. In 2013, he invested 500,000 in Coinbase. When Coinbase IPO'd in 2021, that single check turned into an estimated $100 million. Let me tell you something. Nas did right with that money. Nas, he did right with that money. After 22 years of marriage, 9 miscarriages, 3 stillbirths, 1 heartbreaking loss, this queen just delivered twins at 48 years old. God did it. You know what? I think the Lord has me see the women who birth children late on purpose. Because in a way, I still have hope for my own. Although I don't know, as I get older, I just be like, I don't know if I want, like, because it's so much. It seems so time consuming. Like, when you be like having, my homegirl has 3 kids, and I just, just look at her like life and how it's just all about them, and I just don't know if that's like, because life is definitely going to change. Like, if I had all the money I want to I think then I would definitely be focused on it. But at this point, I'm just very grateful, because even these dogs be overwhelming sometimes. One of my dogs is older, and honey, I just had to get her back twice in the last like 3 weeks. Like, she was, the stomach hurt, then she had to get an intimate, then she had to get this, then she had to get that, and it's time consuming, even though they could just sit on the couch and, honey. But God bless this lady so much. It keeps me with the hope. Billionaire Michael Bloomberg. Okay, my mom had too late on life. Or your mom had 2 children late on life. Yes. You said billionaire Michael Bloomberg commits to $10 million to launch new K through 12 pipeline that connects students directly with HBCUs in Alabama. Honey, let me tell you something. Like, it's going so great. This world wants to keep people separated. It wants to make you think the rich is getting rich and the poor is getting poor and don't nobody care about nobody. But every day, if your timeline don't look like this, you need to make sure it look like this. Every day I'm seeing how somebody is taking their money and they are making a difference, and they making a difference in everybody's life. Remember when Jared Adams was falsely imprisoned for 10 years? He used the prison library to study law and have his conviction overturned. Jared Adams went on to become a lawyer and is now helping other wrongfully convicted felons. Black man. The good news is out here, and that's what you need to know. The good news is out here. Africa now manages nearly $1 trillion of its own wealth, Nigeria leading the surge. I'm talk about reclaiming. You know how Maxine Waters said, reclaiming my time. Africa is reclaiming my mines. Okay, the gold mines. I love it. I love to hear it. Um, Lewis Hamilton is the richest F1 driver in the world and makes history as the most decorated driver in Formula 1. Lewis Hamilton is the richest F1 driver, $23 million F1. When I tell you, black man, North Flint, Michigan's predominantly black community opens first community owned grocery store. The co op is owned by 900 community members who have invested in the store. Let me tell you something. We don't have to wait on the government. We don't have to wait. Here it is right here. People is just taking matters in their own hands, and they do it. A whole community has invested in its own grocery store to make sure you get the freshest. That's what I loved about New York. That's what I loved about living in New York. First of all, New York has a lot of co-ops. But what I love about New York too is all the fresh fruit and vegetables on every corner store. It's why, like, I think I was like maybe 20 something pounds less first of all, because of all the walking in New York. That train, walking up, 11 flights of stairs, every day. I mean, not every day, like twice, three times a day, just getting out of the train. But when I am hungry in the middle of the night, that is in New York, I can stop past a fruit stand and just get some water because that's what's on every corner, a fruit stand. So when you're hungry in the middle of the night, and then of course all the Caribbean food places are open late at night. So when you want to eat late, you can eat good. You know what I'm saying? You can go to get some watermelon, get some pineapple. You can get all that from a store. Anyway, North Michigan, shout out to you. The CEO who cut his own salary by 94%. He went from 1.1 million to 70,000 so every employee could earn the same. Dan Price, he is the CEO of Gravity. He said he was earning $1.1 million, but then what he noticed is his employees were struggling. They were stressed. So he cut his salary and gave everybody a raise to minimum 70K. White man. Dan Price. And uh everybody told him it was crazy, it was dumb, it was stupid to do. What he noticed is sales tripled. Employees was able to buy a home. They wasn't stressed about nothing no more. They started, his productivity went way up. Now, of course, his salary eventually returned because his sales spiked. During the pandemic, nobody laid off, nobody nothing. Dan Price. I'm talking about the good news is out here, y'all. It's out here. Patty LaBelle opened up her first 100% free homeless hospital. She funded the hospital with $78 million from her foundation and music royalties. Patty LaBelle, 100% free homeless hospital. She funded. with $78 million from her foundation and her music royalties. Go, Patty. Go. I'm talking about if your timeline don't look like that, you got to do something about your timeline. Stacy said, hit the like button. You said USDA loans are worth looking into. Guys, I can't not thank y'all enough for joining me each and every week. Thank you so much to my guests. Come on, let's pray. Father God, we come to you right now to say thank you so much, Lord. Lord, you are the King. You are our Jehovah Jireh. You are our provider, Lord, our Jehovah Shalom. You keep our hearts full of peace, Lord, and gratitude. And we just praise your holy name, Father, that you sent your son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross so we can have life and have it more abundantly, Father. I just ask you right now, Father, to put up an armor, Father, over all your children, Father, and protect us from the dangling carrots, Father. Father, help us to understand each and every day, Father, that it is you who gives us the ability to get our wealth, Father. It is you and only you, Father, that we serve to get this wealth and to get this abundance, Father. And we do right with it, Father, when we get it, Father, and we honor you with it, Lord. Help us to have the strength to pay our tithes and offerings, Father, to give alms when people need alms, Father, to give of ourselves more, Father, and to not be chasing the things of the world, Father, but to seek the kingdom first, Father, and knowing that everything will be added to us, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Lord, thank you so much. You said this is great. Deal. I love highlighting people doing wonderful things. Me too, Louis. Me too. When I tell you, I feel like when the father was telling me just go on YouTube and just doing it, just doing it with two people, I was feeling like stressed out because I kept seeing all these like, I used to do my show where I had all these bells and whistles on this thing, but I feel like he made me do this because when I'm just on YouTube and I don't got all these features and I got to look up videos and I got to do all that, I can connect to the things I really want to talk about and the things I'm passionate about, and it keeps me honest and it keeps me driven, and I don't got to worry about, okay, let me do this because this topic is trending. These are the things that's on my heart, and if I could do a whole show of good news, I would do it because I love it so much and I feel like it's my duty to be telling people what's out there because people are watching the news, and I understand people need to see what's going on out there. God bless everybody that needs to be informed, but you also need to be informed on how the Lord's people are doing stuff like every day, every second of the day. The Lord's people are taking care of his people, doing stuff, so that's why I'm just so passionate about that. You said yes, the content is the heart, it isn't the flair. I know, and that's why I'm just like so happy to be doing it because I log on. Here's because the thing is I'm snapping the content, the good news of the week. I started doing it because I would snap those things anyway, just have them in my phone, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna post this online. I'm gonna post, all the good news of the week, and then it just makes sense for me to tell everybody on my show about it because people need to know that, honey, this while Babylon is falling, God's people is rising up, and we doing the right thing. We putting the good out in the world. So anyway, so thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm so glad you subscribed. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. And I will see you next Tuesday right here on the Dell Show 2.0, 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. God bless you and have a great rest of the week. Love y'all.